Hey guys, I haven't made a video in a while, but I just came upon this book by Jose Ortega y Gasset, who is a Spanish philosopher who lived from I think 1880s until 1950, 55, and he wrote a book called Man and People, and it's really just posthumously published uh, lectures that he had given during his lifetime in 1949 and 1950. And in it he makes from chapters 1 and 2 he makes his way back down to what he calls the up to the plane calls it the plane of radical reality, and that is he calls it the which is human life, and he calls it the plane of radical reality because he says in it all other realities must appear, dawn, bud, arise, or exist. So it is only from our life, from our human life, which is what he calls the plane of radical reality, which is, the sort of bottom level of reality. And he says that in it, says four points can be said about the plane of radical reality. He says, one, that human life, in the proper and original sense, is each individual's life seen from itself. Hence, that it is always mine, that it is personal. So one is that it is personal. Two, that it consists in man's finding himself, without knowing why or without knowing how or why, obliged on pain of succumbing, always to be doing something in a particular circumstance, which we shall call the circumstantiality of life, or the fact that man's life is lived in view of circumstances. 3. That circumstance always offers us different possibilities for acting, hence for being. This obliges us, like it or not, to exercise our freedom. We are forced to be free. Because of this, life is a permanent crossroads and constant perplexity. At every instant, we have to choose whether in the next instant, or in some other future time, we shall be he who does this or he who does that. Hence, each of us is incessantly choosing his doing, hence his being. 4. Life is non-transferable. No one can take my place in the task of deciding what I am to do, and this includes what I am to suffer. For I have to accept the suffering that comes to me from without. My life, then, is constant and inescapable responsibility to myself. What I do, hence what I think, feel, want, must make sense, and good sense, to me. So he says, if we put together these attributes, which are those that are of most interest for our theme, we find that life is always personal, circumstantial, untransferable, and 4, it is responsible. So again, that's personal, circumstantial, non-transferable, and responsible. And now please take careful note of this. If later we come upon a life, whether in ourselves or in others, that does not possess these attributes, this will without any doubt or extenuation mean that it is not human life in the proper and original sense, that is, life as radical reality. It will be life, and if you please, human life, in another sense. It will be another kind of reality, different from the former, and in addition, secondary or derivative, more or less dubious. It would be amusing if in our search we should come upon forms of life that, since they are ours, we should have to call human, but that, because they lack these attributes, we should have also at the same time to call non-human or inhuman. At the moment, we do not really understand what this possibility may mean, but I speak of it now so that we may be on alert. But for the present, let us make firm our knowledge that the properly human in me is only what I think, want, feel, and perform with my body, I being the creating subject of all of this, that is, of what happens to me as myself. Hence, my thinking is human only if I think something on my own account being aware of what it means. Only that is human in doing, which I do because it makes sense to me, that is, which I understand. In every human action, then, there is a subject from whom it emanates, and who is thereby its agent, author, or responsible for it. A consequence of this is that my human life, which puts me in direct relation with everything else, let's see here. A consequence of this is that my human life, which puts me in direct relation with everything about me, minerals, plants, animals, other men, is, essentially, solitude, aloneness. My toothache, I said, can cause me pain alone. The thought that I truly think, and do not just repeat mechanically because I have heard it, I am obliged to think for myself alone, or in my solitude. 2 and 2 truly make 4. That is, evidently, intelligibly. Only when I retire alone for a moment and think about it. If we are to, if we are to study elemental phenomena for a beginning, we should begin with the most elemental of all the elemental. Now, the elemental in reality is what serves as the base for all of the rest. Its simplest component, and in addition to being simple and basic, the one that that we most often do not see, its most hidden, arcane, subtle, or abstract component. We are not accustomed to contemplating it, and so we find it difficult to recognize it when someone else expounds it to us and tries to make us see it. In the same way, confronted with a good tapestry, we do not see the threads, precisely because the tapestry is made up of them, because they are its elements or components. What we are accustomed to is things, but not the ingredients of which they are made up. To see the ingredients, we have to stop seeing their combination, which is the thing, just as, to see the pores in stones of which a cathedral is built, we have to stop seeing the cathedral. In practical daily life, what concerns us is manipulating already finished and compounded things. Hence, it is their shape that is familiar to us, that we know and understand. Inversely, to become aware of their elements or components, we have to go counter to our mental habits, and in imagination, that is, intellectually, break things down, cut up the world so that we can see what is inside it, its ingredients. Given human life, we are ipso facto given two terms or factors that are equally primary and furthermore inseparable: man living and the circumstance or world in which man lives. For philosophical idealism since Descartes, only man is radical or primary reality, and even so it is man reduced to une chose que pense res cogitans, thought or ideas. Now, for Aristotle, on the contrary, originally only things and their combination in the world possess reality. Man is simply a thing among things, a piece of the world. Only secondarily, because he possesses reason, does man have a special and preeminent role. To reason on all other things in the world, to think what they are, to make the truth about the world shine in the world by virtue of the word that speaks, that declares or reveals the truth of things. But Aristotle does not tell us why man possesses reason and speech. Logos means both. Nor does he tell us why the world, in addition to things, contains that other extraordinary thing, the truth. For him, for Aristotle, the existence of this reason is simply a fact of the world like any other, like a giraffe's long neck, volcanic eruptions, and the bestiality of beasts. In this decisive sense, I say that for Aristotle, man, reason, and all, is neither more nor less than a thing, and hence that for Aristotle, there is no other radical reality than things or being. All right, we'll continue this in the next video.